seal for the 501c3 to assist departments. I don't know, Bob, if you can help me out a little bit on this one, but there is a 501c3 group that had organized and chartered to assist the township in various activities, the police department, fire department. I do have included in there a copy of the memo from Solicitor Keenan. To take note on his last comment, township should consider the implications of that and improve or disapprove.
I would just say use of the township seal is a mixed blessing for us. On the one hand, it may enhance the ability of this group to operate and collect money. On the other hand, it may put out the false impression that this committee is part of the township. And the township has absolutely nothing to do with this committee, this organization. They don't appoint anybody to it. They don't govern it in any way. And it may come up with ideas for fundraising which wouldn't pass muster with this board, and you may be giving the appearance of authorization. I think it's easy to just say we're organized for the benefit of Lower Frederick and not use your seal.
So that's the request, yes. The request is just to use the seal.
The seal.
I would tend to, my move is no, simply put, for those reasons primarily.
Well, I think you guys remember I brought this back up in the summer that we were going to try to do some fundraising for the police, and that would go towards equipment and whatnot. And since Ted Locker left, he was, I think, the first one involved with it. And then obviously Kevin came in October 16th, so we had to get him up to speed with everything else in the township. Did have a conversation with him late October after he spoke with the chief, and I was told that there was no problem. Chief Maxey said, we'll give you the badge, use the copy of the badge. You know, he talked to Kevin, they went back and forth. I was told it was, you know, a done deal. As far as that was concerned from that point forward, you know, we had a lot of things going on with election and holidays, so trying to get things together. The one thing that we've been trying to do, as we said before, is get these fundraisers started. So it would be nice to know, you know, obviously we knew that the police department was looking for a new vehicle. So we had like a goal that we could put on our end as to try to raise money for that fact.
So I'll put the 2-minute thing in right there.
There you go.
I don't have any problem with what you're doing. I think it's great.
Right.
Okay? There's no issue with what your intent is. The issue is the use of the seal.
Correct.
That's all it is, Bob. And I think you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. I just feel like what Mr. Keenan said has its implications that could. I don't know if you're allowed to just take a badge and photocopy it and stick it on, and I don't know who can stop you from doing that, but as an official seal, which is, I guess this, is our official seal, right? Official seal. I think we have to stay away from that personally at this point in time. That's my opinion. So,
I think it is tricky. People will assume an official connection between the township and also endorsement. And I don't think the township, as represented by the supervisor, can officially endorse or connect itself to a nonprofit. Now, it doesn't mean we can't attend, we can donate, but what you may want to consider is generating your own official seal.
That's fine.
That would represent Lower Frederick, but would not be the official seal of the township.
I'm just going off of the conversations that we had with the chief and with Kevin in his first couple of weeks here, and you know, I was told that it was coming. And then I had a half a dozen conversations with Kevin, and the last time I talked to him, he mentioned he had to talk to Tom, He also told me that I'd have to talk to the fire company to get their seal or logo when we do stuff for them. So I've already put a phone call into Tom Gammon.
You'll never get one from the fire company, because
Okay.
I was president of the fire company, I would never let that seal out of my hand. I'm just saying.
All we're trying to do is raise
I
the
know what
money
you-
for those funds.
You gotta do, if you wanna raise money, you have to do like I did. I ran a carnival, I gave all the money to the ambulance. So, I mean, that's the stuff, that's how I raised money earlier, was I asked for the park, and that's what I was doing.
Comment?
First, Bill, for Girlfriend. One option that might work for this situation is not so much to make any of the township departments official part of the committee, but for specific projects that you go forward with and you're looking for grant money to match whatever we can raise, because we're not going to raise enough to do it all. You always need partners. So when you make that grant application, the township could easily sign on as a partner for that particular project, whatever the grant was for, or the fire department, or the police department, whoever. And that way you have the additional backing and support of these official organizations without you guys having to be part of that committee all the time. So I think it makes the grant applications stronger when you have a broad range of partners as part of that. So it might be actually better for this group not to drag you guys in 100% of the time, but to only ensure that when you want to partner for a particular project, then everybody's sealing and everything that you put on the application as part of a particular application, not some broad, undefined mission.
I guess my other question, and getting beyond the seal, I think we're in agreement. I'm not exactly sure who the stewards are out there or who you are, but is there a group that is? I mean, I
We have a board of directors. There's a board of directors, and then there's others that are working in the group, and then
Who's
there's.
the board? Who's on the board?
I'm the president. Noel is the vice president, and Larry is the treasurer.
Okay, so I guess my question would be to you then, Mr. President. The nonprofit, and I'm not real familiar with it, is this something that is being formed, and you will handle the funds, and how does the mechanism work?
Basically, right now, we have our federal ID number. We set up an account down at Univest. As soon as the state paperwork comes back in, we'll go back down and see Jason, and we'll set up the 4 categories that we have right now. One being the police department equipment, one being fire department equipment, one being parks and recs equipment, and then the third would be land acquisition for open space. So those are the 4 funds that we'll have an account open for those type of things. And then when we start having the fundraising events, if we say that, you know, this event here on this date is for funds for the police department equipment, then when that money is raised, that'll go right into that account. And what we did is we set goals for each one of the accounts that we would like to reach. So once we reach that goal, unless we're told otherwise, like, you know, if Tom says to me at the firehouse, hey, I need 10 grand to buy this specific piece of equipment, and we've already raised that much, then we can go ahead and cut them a check for that, and they can go, you know, use it for whatever they want to do. Same thing with the Parks and Recs. If it's something that Parks and Recs wants something specific, or if they just want, you know, 10 park benches, or they want dog agility equipment for the dog park, or, you know, whatever it is. So we're going to meet with the Parks and Recs department on their next scheduled meeting next Monday. So that they're, you know, it's obviously better if they can give us an idea of what it is, and then when we're having the fundraising event, we can show the people, hey, this is what the Parks and Recs, you know, this is they want 10 of these park benches, this is what it looks like, you know. Maybe more people will have a better feel for.
So in your marketing,
Right.
your fundraising.
Right. So at this point, our marketing right now is just saying, you know, the first event we're doing, which is going to be multiple events for the police department to get that fund up. We're telling people that when you come for this, the donations for this will go to that fund. And we actually have the first fundraiser is going to start next Tuesday, and it will run the rest of the month of February. It'll be held at Northside. At any time after February 6th, people can go in and they can get the meal called the badge, which will be a pulled pork sandwich, fries, coleslaw, and pickle for $11.99. And if they also order a homemade dessert, that's $5.99. 20% of those two items will be donated back to us. Northside will do their tabulations. At the end of the month, they'll call me up and say, hey, Bob, this is what we raised. And then they can give us the money to put in that account.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the time and the effort. I know it involves a lot of work. Being in Little League Baseball and everything else, and all the fundraising that goes on. So I think we're in agreement, you have an answer, I guess you have to come up with your own seal, or
Yeah, that's fine.
not. I doubt that's gonna affect the profit or loss, but I certainly wish you well, and thank you.
Thank you.
For putting this together.
It's a combined effort from all the stewards.
I do have actually two additional items. Have a resignation letter here from Officer DeForest. Dear Chief Maxey, I'm resigning as part-time police officer effective immediately after much debate and hesitation. I've decided that resigning from my position is going to be best. As you know, I have a full-time police officer position and two young children. These my family in a full-time position at Corona is hard to fill. It is hard to fit this position on my schedule. As a chief, you have needs and expectations to fill a schedule, and unfortunately cannot fulfill that need. Thank you for the opportunity to have worked for Lower Frederick Township, you and the residents. I consider it a privilege to have worked for you and to have served in a police officer capacity. Thank Corporal Dave Milligan for all his efforts in my training process. I believe the core group of officers that you hold will be a great asset to you. And just received today, the County Health Department wanted me to pass this on. There was a rabid raccoon that they found in the first block of the avenue in Perkionville. One thing I can suggest is if you see a raccoon, just stay away. That's all I have.
Should we stay away or should we call the health department?
They said to stay away.
Do you recall?
And that's all I have.
I'd like to say one thing. I'd like to thank Kevin, and I assume you're responsible for putting the next meeting up on the board.
Yes.
Thank you. That's great.
I did also contact the individual from the school, asking her when she's available. You got that email too, right?
Yes, but it was up to you, so I can mention it.
Okay. Just asking her when she's available to meet. So, Supervisor Hexner and myself met with representatives of the school district. We're in the beginning process or phase of putting together an electronic newsletter for the township. So,
And the Perkiomen Valley School has very kindly offered to have some of their very talented students in journalism class to help us in this effort. So, definitely much needed.
okay.
That's it? That's all we have?
Do we accept public comment?
comments.
One for Graham White. On the resignation of police officer, do we incur a lot of upfront costs for costs now?
I don't know. I'm glad you asked. I was going to ask, but I let it go.
For Officer DeForest?
Yeah.
I talked to the chief about that. We're looking for him to reimburse us for the vest.
Right, we did do something about that before, right?
We outfitted him.
Trained him? Well, no, we didn't have, he had to train from his full time. Yes, we outfitted him.
Right here first, yeah.
Sherry Schweikert, Plank Road. So I was interested in the engineer's report where she pointed out that by bidding the road maintenance at a certain time of the year, there was potential to reduce the cost. Right after that, we had two other bids that were coming very close to their due date. I'm wondering, are there other opportunities that we have to strategically align our bids to minimize the cost of the township while getting the same services.
Well, that's absolutely true with paving projects, and that's why we're aligned at the beginning of the year. You're ahead of a lot of other municipalities that way. We have historically found that you get better prices on the road maintenance bids earlier in the season as opposed to later. You get better prices on paving contracts early in the season rather than later. You'll probably get better hourly rates on the equipment bid early in the season rather than later, just because of the difference between contractors trying to line up work for their coming year now versus asking contractors to come do work for you in August when everybody's trying to get their last paving in before the season closes. So we are doing that.
There's other contracts like that, okay, that we could put a schedule together by the manager so that they come up with the right keys to try and save the township money.
Yeah, the paving contracts are the ones where I've really seen that difference in the timing of the year. And I can't say I've seen that in other contracts, but we'll certainly keep that in mind.
Mr. Schmidt.
Ernie Schmidt, 209 Silverbrook Drive. Two things. I have a few other things I'd like to talk about. I'd like to keep everybody awake. I'll hold them off for later on. But two things I'd like to talk about. First of all, the light that was installed on Goshen Road did have a failure. It became a day burn. I found that out today in a call about another issue with Pico. And they got a crew out there and they changed the photocell in it so it should be operating, you know, it would be off during the day and on at night. The other issue is approximately a year ago, you had brought up a contractor for trimming in the township. Had you not? Is that contract still a good contract for trimming?
A tree bid?
Yeah, a tree bid.
Yeah.
I think you renewed that last year.
We sent that out, yeah, we had
Got a new contract.
April.
Same contract?
That's a different contract. Yeah, it's the same, because I think it was a 3-year contract.
What was it, guy down?
Okay, the reason I'm bringing it up is 42 Main Road is a large oak tree with large leaders. Some of the ends are coming down, they'll come down, but I think you ought to take a ride with him, with the roadmaster, ride around the township, because you have another tree on Main Road, just as you come off Cemetery, that's got a large leader that is not up in the electric pit. It was trimmed that way, should be trimmed off also. But that large oak should be trimmed. Not that somebody's going to get hurt anytime soon, but that tree is pretty much dead. And at least the side clearance on it, where it goes over the road, should have the leaders removed. That's all I'd like to see get done as soon as possible. Thank you.
Kevin, take note of that. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ernie. Mr. Yiser.
I'll keep it in a minute.
Two.
Three things. Three things. With regard to the map showing the parcels and the development, I think we had some text when we did the connections map that kind of distanced the maps from the township. You might want to look at that on the bottom, maybe you can salvage some. With respect to the DeSanto, I know the planning commission did recommend or suggest that the township do what they need to do to formally close out that plan. That was pretty much unanimous recommendation from our planning commission. And third, I just want to thank you again for allowing us to do the Fair District presentation, and we hope to perhaps be here next week when you feel comfortable putting forward and adopting the resolution. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via email and we'll answer them as quick as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce Jasser, go to Frankfurt Road, and I will just second the third part of what he said.
Mr. Hill.
Ryan Hill, 11 Digger Road. Could you comment on the Goza track and where it's at and what's the future of it and where things are going?
So they got their conditional final approval a couple months ago now. They are still finalizing those conditions of approval. The sewage planning module has to be approved by DEP. That's the biggest thing. The township did receive a permit permit application, a road permit application for relocation of utility poles. So that looks like it's on the short-term horizon, just moving some of those poles back along Zieglerville and Schwank Road. But the work beyond that, at this point, I don't have a start date because they're still waiting for working out the sewage facilities planning modules with DEP.
Go ahead, Ellen.
Just a quick question on what you had asked Lynn Jansen Cemetery. Isn't there like 2 or 3 days left in the comment period for the township regarding the sewage plant module?
Correct.
And so is it February? Because I forget which date it was printed. It was 30 days from whenever it was it the
I think
second
their
or the
consultant
third?
mentioned to me that there was a February 4th date.
It's February 4th, so it would be on the Friday, or
I believe it's the first.
is it the first or the second? I guess maybe that's what the clarification I'm trying to get. Is it this
There was an
Thursday?
advertisement and a public comment period that will soon come to a close. You're correct about that. The exact date on that, whether it's the 1st or the 4th, I'd have to be.
So it's either this Thursday or Friday, and then from there, then that whole package gets sent to the DEP for their review of all the documents.
So there are questions in there that have to be addressed, and any comments, if there were any comments received, they have to be incorporated, and then that goes back to DEP. You're correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one more.
Bob Burns, Zieglerville Road, since I failed to do that earlier. I sent Kevin a email in regards to that, where the historic component is missing on the old farmhouse. So I believe that the way they had filed it in the beginning, whether it was filed under Ragusa and then under, what is it, Creekside of Perkiomen? Is it-
So if you responded with a comment, I have not yet gathered this from Kevin. So
Okay.
I haven't seen that.
I just wanted to let you know I sent it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank Tom and you for getting your light lit up down here, the signboard.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tommy.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank Ernie for resolving, and Schmidt for resolving that light issue. I'm sure the people who live there are happy to know that that light's not on and that it's on.
Yes, well, it's just one of those things that, during the day, it's not costing us any money, but the light's on all the time, which cuts down the bulb life anyhow.
Yeah.
So it was a good catch by them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll move to adjourn. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye.
Mark, you're back.